Hello, I'm John Fox on Channel John West. I'm having a quantum break adventure and I've hit episode 2 of the television series. So this is my quick and dirty review of that episode, Prisoner, episode 2. First thing I'm going to say is I'm still very much impressed that this is working so well. And I'm going to say, before this episode, I had to make a decision in the game. I was Paul Serene, and Jack has just, he's given himself up. And we're going to lock him in a cell. And we have to choose who's to attend to him. So either one of the options was personal, which is that Paul Serene can go to the cell and explain his actions to Jack. But if he does so, I was warned that the gala would go badly, he wouldn't be there to present the speech, and bad stuff would happen. And that would badly affect Monarch. The other option was that I go business, and I let Hatch talk to Jack, and that way the gala would go well, but Jack would never really know my Paul's true intentions. So those were my options, and I chose business. I sent Hatch to talk to Jack as Paul Serene. So the episode starts with Paul getting his treatments. All his time travel has left him with horrible time travel illness. And this lady, who I've completely forgotten her name, but she's important to the plot, she's concerned that the treatments are they're not as effective over time, oh no. But he doesn't care, he's like, no, it's fine, don't worry about it, you're worrying too much. So Fiona and Charlie are at the party, the gala, which the game kept on talking about the gala, so it's quite important. And Fiona, I've learned her name as well, getting Charlie drunk and flirting with him and trying to find out information as well. I know because of the game and because of the plot of the game and because of emails that I've looked into, because in the game you can look on people's computers and just read the emails, it's really easy to do so, that she's got ulterior motives, that she's secretly working with Beth, and she's trying to distract Charlie and trying to find information out from him, and I know that only because of the game and only because I put extra effort into the game to find those emails. So that lady from before, who I'm terribly sorry, I cannot remember her name for the life of me, she voices her concerns to Hatch, and actually Hatch doesn't care. He's just like, look, you clearly care too much, but this is a distraction. We've got to be more about Monarch, and you being all girly about treating our boss it's just distracting. It's not useful in the slightest. Again, because of the game, I know Hatch has ulterior motives. I've read his email, and he'd be fine if Paul Serene was to just disappear. He doesn't really care for him. Which I guess you get a little of that from the episodes, but I know more because of the game. So I'm going to show you the first stutter scene. In the game, you can sort of click on certain places, and it means there's an extra scene in the episodes. And I'll show you the first one. I have no idea what either of the scenes actually mean.
Richard, where the hell have you been?
Didn't have my invitation.
Oh my god, you're always losing things.
I'm not losing anything.
So Liam Burke, he escapes from his cell. I forgot to tell you, he was put in a cell, and yes, he uses his sort of ingenuity, he tricks the guard basically, and he kicks a chair into them, and he gets out pretty easily. Apparently there's just the one guard, and he decides to go to the restricted zone. He sees it on a map, and he's like, yeah, that sounds like they don't want me to go there, so I'm going to go there. He might have decided to go there before, I can't quite remember.
What the fuck is that?
Kind of looks like a dinosaur wearing a helmet.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like.
So I showed you the second stutter there, still not really sure what all that was about, but that was from Charlie and Fiona's perspective. They've left the party now for reasons, and they meet up with Liam, who holds them up at gunpoint. And the game, again, in the game it is explained that there's this island called Gull Island, and the lab and the Gala Mansion and the cells, they're all on this island for convenience sake. And so, well, fair enough. The game did explain to me that that was the case, so it wasn't weird that they're just sort of really close to each other. Well, Fiona reveals to Burke, and I guess to Charlie as well, because he just happens to be there, that she was secretly working with Beth the entire time, and they all go, oh, well, let's all be good guys together then. Bob and Charlie, who's probably a bit annoyed about this entire thing because he just has been betrayed, and they go to the secret lab, which is really close, and they use Charlie to break in. He's got an app on his phone. He just plugs it in, and secret lab, there's no guards. Just lets anyone in the incredibly restricted area of the island. I've seen lots of shows now that have secret organisations. There's at least 2 that are just called The Company. And one of the things I've noticed in these shows is they never really have enough personnel. Was it Heroes, which has the company. Heroes has like 12 leaders to that, and I'm pretty sure there were less than 12 people in the company. It always feels weird. Like at the start of the series, there was loads of people, but they sort of dwindled as they get killed off. And this does a reasonably good job at showing that Monarch is full of people. Like there's an entire gala full of people, but they're like investors and all that. But they could still do with a few more security guards in certain places. Charlie, who's in the game following you all the way throughout because he's watching cameras, like there should be 4 Charlies at least. He's got an assistant who was shown in episode 1. But seriously, there needs to be somebody manning the cameras at all time. The fact that Fiona can just drag someone off security detail, or he's security, he's like every computer detail. But especially, they need more Charlies. And I know it's need-to-know basis, but he doesn't know the inside information, so I don't know how. Like, he's got cameras to everywhere. He could just find out about this stuff really easily. So in the lab, they're looking for the lifeboat protocol or any information they can find out about it. But what they actually find is Dr. Henry Kim, which has been set up as this big mystery in the game. All the emails go, he died mysteriously. He was replaced with Will, which is Jack's brother. And he was the head scientist before that. But turns out Fiona was mentored by Henry Kim. But it turns out he's not dead. He's sort of in a state of constant flux. He's turned into a time monster, and I'm sure we'll see a few of those later on in the game as sort of final area enemies. But it's sort of a dun dun dun. He's in this big, like, sealed area going all weird. So Hatch finally gets around to interrogating Jack. So there's a bit of weird continuity because in the game, the level right before this episode starts, I made that decision, as I mentioned, between business and personal. And the implication was that Paul Serene couldn't do both. He either had to interrogate Jack or he had to attend to the gala. We don't actually get to see him attend the gala. And he talks to Hatch before the interrogate. I feel like he had time to do both, but whatever. I'll go with it. This is a nitpick. It's not really. It's a minor issue. It just feels like it doesn't quite flow probably, but whatever. He interrogates Jack. So the repercussions of this conversation is that Hatch actually lets Jack go. He puts a gun down on a key and he walks off. And he talks very mysteriously. He sort of encourages Jack to go after Paul Serene. But Jack's the main character of the computer game, so he would have escaped either whatever option I took. He obviously had to escape, otherwise the game would just be really boring, just me sitting in a cell for the next 4 hours. So the trio are still in the lab having conversations about their motivations and whatnot, and suddenly an alarm goes off and they're attacked by time soldiers. I'm fairly sure they've got a name, they're like strikers or something like that, but I can't remember what they're called. They're called time soldiers now. Now obviously Liam Burke, he has no problem taking out these time soldiers, even though they literally can sort of teleport instantaneously to different points of the room and have time powers similar to Jack in the game. Now Liam's just like, pew pew, hiding behind. He has no problems. Actually, the game goes to massive lengths to explain why Liam isn't one of these super time soldiers. It basically says that he's clearly the best in the company at being a shooty fighty man, but he's a bit of a liability. See, he's got a sort of weakness because he cares about his pregnant wife. He's also prone to emotional outbursts. See, the game sort of implies that his defection was basically an inevitability. There's this long email from this psych evaluation guy who just says, yeah, he doesn't like the fact that you're keeping secrets about him, about the end of the world, and if he finds out that his wife isn't going to be on the lifeboat, he will definitely betray us. And I was just thinking, just tell him and let his wife go on the life, or tell him that his wife's going to go on the lifeboat. You don't have to bring her with you eventually, but just tell him, or fire him, because you know he's a liability. You know he's not only is he going to betray everyone, but he's the best soldier. He's so good that he can beat time soldiers. So while running away, Fiona gets stuck in one of the time stutters. She gets frozen, and the characters play around with, oh, everything's frozen, isn't that weird? And it's clear that Charlie still cares for Fiona, even though she literally betrayed him and was only being nice to get information. He's also a massive coward. So the stutters eventually pass, and the trio eventually do get out of the lab, and the episode ends. So, I mean, what did I think? Well, first of all, the synergy between the show and the game is really cool. It works remarkably well. I put loads of effort into finding all the extra emails and so I didn't find them all. They're quite hard to find, some of them. But there's emails and posters and audio tapes you can listen to. And I'm rewarded by little bits of insight into certain characters. But none of it's ruined plot points later on. I just know, oh, this guy isn't necessarily to be trusted. Yeah, overall, it goes by really quickly. I mean, you could easily stretch this out to 45 minutes. In fact, it might be better to do so. Let a few of the scenes breathe a bit because it's compact. It's tight. I mentioned it before. It does feel like... Did I mention it before? I'm not sure if I did. But it feels like they cut down to have the bare minimum they need to show for certain scenes to work, and it doesn't necessarily feel like a living, breathing world because it's so tight. But yeah, it's really slick. You put this on television next to a Fringe or any modern sci-fi series, it wouldn't look out of place. You wouldn't go, oh, this is from a computer game, it's rubbish. It looks like a real series. It would work as a real series. I mean, it's probably missing some information, but I mean, apart from that, yeah, I think it's really good. I'm enjoying it a lot so far, and I think the whole game TV thing is working remarkably well. So I'm going to let you go. I've been John Proxy, and I'm having a Quantum Break adventure, but this is my quick and dirty review of Episode 2, Prisoner, for Quantum Break. And I'll see you guys next time.